Hi, do you know what today's thought? And today, before we get right to the thought, just one, because this is kind of related to it, but you may have read, I've read at least a couple, two, maybe three studies or articles about studies of, or surveys of liberals and conservatives, and they all reached the same conclusion that conservatives are generally happier and more satisfied with their lives than are liberals. Or to turn it around the other way, liberals tend to be angrier and less happy than conservatives. And I guess we have the anecdotal evidence is, well, throughout two Obama administrations and one Biden administration, do you recall? I have no recollection. I mean, there could be an exception of people running into the streets, Republicans running into the streets and screaming at the top of their lungs and singing protest songs and things that I showed you actually in a couple of thoughts ago. Just acting like spoiled babies, and the closest thing I ever saw was during I think it was the Obama, the Tea Party. I went to a Tea Party rally in New York City, of all places, where I was living on 8th Avenue. They closed off 2 or 3 blocks, and they had several speakers, but it was very, very orderly, very people just listened quietly to the speakers, applauded, cheered, but nothing. And the speakers were not, they just spoke in normal tones. I mean, no screaming, no yelling, no hysterics like we're seeing from the Democrats. So that's some anecdotal evidence for you. And the reason I bring this up is because I'm going to show you a couple of videos that if you're a liberal and you're unhappy, this is going to make you even more unhappy. But to be fair, this is not all liberals are like this, because what I'm going to show you, these 2 videos, it's about Democrats who it's focus group, okay? Maybe you've heard of Frank Luntz. He does these focus groups, especially around election time, or he used to. I don't know, this time he's interviewed on CNN, so I don't know what the situation is these days, but he used to do these for Fox when you'd ever there would be a debate, and then a presidential debate, and then you would have this focus group, and then he would ask questions of the focus group. What did you think of what this candidate said? What did you think of what that candidate said? That kind of focus group. So he did a focus group with 11 Democrats who, for all I know, maybe they're former Democrats now, but these are Democrats who voted for Joe Biden the last time, and this time they voted for Trump. They switched to Trump, and the purpose of the focus group was Luntz wanted to explore whether or not they regret voting for Trump, whether they are they happy that they voted for Trump, or do they regret that they voted for Trump and wish that they had voted for Kamala Harris? And I'll just turn it over right now to the focus group. You're going to see 2 videos. I'll run one right after the other. The first one is CNN Dana Bash, however you pronounce it, reporting on the results of this focus group, and then following that interview also on CNN with Frank Luntz himself discussing the results of the focus group. So, without further ado, as they say,
talked to some Arizona voters who switched from voting for Joe Biden in 2020 to Trump in 2024, and so far they mostly like what they see.
I just think he's trying to get America back on track as quickly as possible, given the state that it was left in from the previous administration.
It feels more merit and transparency that I'm getting from the administration so far.
I approve of a lot of the stuff that he's doing with the border and everything.
He's put other countries on notice that need to be taken seriously.
For the most part, I feel like he's on the right track by keeping transgenders out of women's sports. That's number one.
All 11 Biden-Trump voters say they approve of Donald Trump's first weeks in office.
Poll numbers to the sentiments of voters. And it's so interesting. You've been speaking with a number of voters who were Hillary Clinton 2016, Joe Biden 2020, and then went for Trump in 2024. How are these folks seeing the early days of Trump's second term?
Pretty well.
Really?
And they're reacting to it because they love the pace of change. They were very fed up over the last 4 years. They wanted action. They wanted results. They looked at prices. They looked at affordability, looked at immigration, and they didn't see anything happening. They still don't like what he says, but they like what he does. And these are Democrats now who felt that they were not securing the border. They were doing nothing to prevent illegal immigration, that nothing was actually happening. They wanted to see a reduction in wasteful Washington spending, and they're seeing that. So what they tell me is, I wish you'd be a little bit less rude. But at the same time, they like what he's doing. They believe he's serious about it. And for the first time, they have confidence in the future, which is why you now see some significant shifts in the polling about the expectations for the direction in the coming years.
It's a big wake-up call for Democrats.
I'm waiting for them to get a message. I'm waiting for them to unify and to understand that to oppose and to be the resistance, which is what some of them use that phrase, that's not what Democrats in grassroots areas want from them. They may not want the approach that Trump is doing, President Trump. By the way, I now know to say President Trump. But they do want action, and they don't see action from the Democrats.
That's my thought. And as I said before I ran the videos, are these Democrats now or are they former Democrats? It'll be interesting to see what happens in 2028. But for now, there you go. I report, you decide. I love to hear your comments. I love receiving comments. So share those comments. But also, if you could subscribe, that would really be great. Share this video with anyone you think would benefit from it. But most of all, come back and see me again. And actually, I said share this video with anyone you think would benefit from it. But small caveat, even though they would benefit from it, if you have any liberal friends, you might want to think twice about showing it to them. Depends how well you know them. What do you think they'll be triggered and go off the deep end seeing that video. But if you trust in them, then show it to them too. So see you again soon. Looking forward to it. And until I do see all of you again, bye.